Hi guys, I am back with a little foundation review. If you've seen my last haul, which if you haven't, I'll have it linked somewhere here on the screen, but if you've seen my last haul, you've noticed that I picked up the new Cover FX Custom Drops Foundation, which is right here, and I figured I'd do a really quick review on it. So with my last foundation review, which I did on the NARS Luminous All Day Stay Long Title Foundation, I did a first impression with that foundation, so I put it on, you guys saw how I first used it, and then I wore it throughout the day, and then at the end of the day I told you what my final thoughts were and how it wore. For that one, I learned a really hard lesson the hard way. I've noticed that as I continued to wear that foundation, even though I loved it on the first day, it broke me out. I've noticed that little bumps were starting to form and it just freaked me out, so I stopped using it. And I learned that with foundation reviews, I really gotta try it on for at least a week before I can put a video out and say that I would recommend it or not, because even though it looks great the first day, it wore great and I loved it, it might not agree with my skin 2 days later. So with this foundation review, I've worn the foundation for a little bit over a week now. It's been about 10 days, and straight off the bat, guys, I absolutely love this product. So I'm just on the Sephora website and I'm just going to read to you guys a little bit about what the foundation is. It is a dropper with concentrated pigments for convenient customization of any product in your beauty regimen, allowing you to control the level of coverage. The pigments are coated with lecithin, which is biochemically similar to the skin to ensure seamless blending, precise control, and the smoothest application. And I would totally agree to every single one of those claims and statements. There are 24 shades and it goes from really pale porcelain skin to really deep dark skin tones, neutral pinks and goldens, and it retails for $44 and it is 0.5 ounces, which is the only negative part I have to say about this foundation. For a $44 foundation product, that is half the amount that you usually get with any standard foundation, whether it's drugstore or high-end. But because it's pure pigment and because you're using maybe 3 or 4 drops at the most for high coverage foundation, this bottle is going to last you just as long as a regular size bottle foundation, or even longer, because you're using very, very little amounts at a time. So all I have on my face right now is of course my eye makeup and some chapstick. I don't have any moisturizer on right now because I tend to mix the foundation with whatever moisturizer I'm using that day. Today I'm using something that's part of the Neutrogena 3-step system, which you guys know that I love and rave about. And this is their oil-free lotion with SPF 15 in it. And I figured since I'm going to be wearing foundation and mixing it with a moisturizer, I might as well get some acne fighting ingredients on my face as well as some sunscreen while I'm wearing makeup. So we're just going to get started. I just squeeze like a tiny bit of moisturizer on, whatever amount that I normally use. And then with the foundation, since it is so liquidy, I tend to mix it up really well. What's great about these custom drops is that you can customize the coverage that you want depending on that specific time of the year. So especially right now when it's hotter out and summer is coming, I tend to wear very, very light to minimal foundation coverage. I don't like the feeling of thick, heavy, medium to full coverage foundation in the summer months because it's the worst feeling sweating underneath thick, heavy makeup. So this is perfect to kind of customize your coverage. And right now I'm only using about 2 drops of this, so that's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna do 2 drops onto my moisturizer. And because this foundation is pure pigment, 2 drops is seriously enough to have light to medium coverage. I'm just mixing it up with a brush on my hand. Because it's pure pigment, you really want to experiment with fewer drops at first when you're first starting to use it, because it can really surprise you how much coverage it gives with just a few drops. So I'm just going to do half of my face, and you guys can compare it to the other side of my face with just 2 drops, and you can really tell that it gives really nice coverage even with just 2 or 3 drops. So let's just apply this on. And I do find that this builds really nicely, so if you want to layer it on over your problem areas, which is always this side of my cheek for me. I don't know why. I break out more on that side, and acne scars never heal as fast as it does on the other side of my face. So I always need extra coverage right there. So this is one side of my face with the foundation on, and as you can see, even with just 2 drops and all that moisturizer, it covers up really evenly and it kind of evens out your skin tone while still looking like skin. It covered up a lot of my redness, but of course my acne scars are still peeking through, but that's completely fine with me in the summer. I don't mind my natural skin peeking through. It just looks more natural that way, and it kind of gives the illusion that you have nicer skin than you do. And just to compare it to the other side, you can see that it covered up my under eye circles really nicely. The redness around my nose is covered up while still looking like really natural skin. This coverage for this time of the year is perfect for me, so I'm gonna stop yapping about it and apply the rest of the foundation to my other side. So this is the foundation applied to both sides of my face, and it is a shade lighter than my skin tone. I used G30 and I do have G40, but just the hassle of mixing the 2 colors to get my perfect shade was a little bit more trouble than it was worth, because you'll guys see in a little bit when I apply bronzer it matches up evenly. So I'm gonna put bronzer on right now because I look like a ghost, so I will be right back. Okay, so now that I look human again, we can continue on with this video. As you guys can see, just adding a little bit of bronzer and blush totally matches my face to the rest of my body, which is definitely a plus. And if anything, using the lighter foundation shade actually helped me in my makeup routine. It kind of helps, skips a step that I usually do, which is highlight the inner parts of my face, so like my under eyes, down my nose, my chin, and my forehead. Because I used that lighter foundation shade and just bronzed the outer edges of my face, it kind of did the contouring and highlighting all at once. So like I said in the beginning of my video, I have been wearing this for about a week, so I've had a good chunk of time to really experiment with it, wear it enough. And I gotta say that I absolutely love the cover drops from Cover FX. It is such a genius idea to come out with something that the consumer can customize to match their own shade, to make their own coverage, and to mix it with whatever product that the person using it is using. If you don't want to mix it with your moisturizer and you want to mix it with your primer, you can do that as well. I've mixed it with my Tarte 12-hour brightening primer, and it works just the same. It added a little bit more coverage since this is just a clear cream and not a white cream from the moisturizer. So it was a little bit more coverage using the same amount of drops with the primer. So again, experiment with what you're mixing it with, and I just absolutely love it. If you're someone like me who is allergic to silicone-based primers, I am really allergic to it. I break out super quickly if I use it. You can mix it with whatever primers that you love, whatever you use, without having to use a foundation that lasts long with a primer in it already. Does that make any sense? Like, some foundations I find already has silicone in it to make it last longer, to make it look smoother, and those foundations breaks me out because it has silicone in it. But because I'm mixing it with a primer that I use all the time and that I love, I know that A, the foundation will stay on longer, B, it'll apply smoother because of primer, and C, it's not going to break me out because the primer doesn't have silicone in it. It's the primer that I use all the time. So that's just a huge bonus, just knowing that you can mix it with whatever you use on a daily basis. Just the fact that it's so versatile and that you can mix it with anything, and that it's so pigmented so you're still getting coverage, is just what sells me on this, and that's why I recommend it to everyone, because it will suit everybody. I hope you guys enjoy this little review, and if you're wondering about the makeup I'm wearing in this video, I just filmed a tutorial for it, so it will probably be going up after this video.